Hey guys, have you ever had a potential customer ask you to price a cake and then when you give them the price they go, excuse me, how much? And then you repeat the price and they go, for a cake? I'd never pay that for a cake. And then it takes all your self-control not to go, well, there's a Costco about 3 miles down the road. Don't ever say that. Totally unprofessional. Usually what I say is, oh, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm not your baker. Have a good day kind of thing. Because honestly, they're just ignorant. They don't realize, that they're being offensive. They don't realize how many hours and the time and the skill that goes into making a custom cake. But if you've never had that happen to you, you're not charging enough. And if you can't tell, that's what today's video is all about. It's going to be about pricing your designs, getting the amount of money that you should for your cakes, and figuring out how much money that is. So let's get started. Hey, there's one thing I want to stress here before we get started, and that's you're an artist. It takes skill to do what you do. And if it was easy, everybody would be making their own cakes. So do not sell yourself cheap. For every one person that complains about your pricing being too high, there are 5 people willing to pay it. So cater to that clientele. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about pricing party cakes, not wedding cakes. Wedding cakes is a whole different ball game. If you would like me to do a video on pricing wedding cakes, let me know in the comments down below. I'd be happy to make you one. So you've decided you want to, bake and sell cakes out of your house. The first step you need to do is to figure out what you're going to offer your customers. And that is based on how many cake pans you own, how many different sizes. Then you need to figure out how many servings you can get out of each size of those cake pans. So once you've determined sizes you're offering and how many they serve, the next step is figuring out pricing. And how I do that is I created what I call a basic pricing list. So let's take a look. So I came up with this way of pricing because I'm a custom baker. I don't freeze cakes. Everything is fresh, made to order for a specific client. And I very rarely ever do the same design twice. So making price sheets of past cake designs really doesn't help me out at all. So I needed to come up with a way that I could price things quickly. And this is the method that's worked for me for the past few years. So what I did was I listed all of the different sizes of cakes that I offer. These are the most frequently asked sizes. And then I figured out, the servings for all those cakes. And then I come up with a basic price. Now, how I did this was first I figured out my actual cost in these sizes. You kind of need to know that as, the bottom. I mean, let's face it, when people are buying custom cakes, they're buying your skill. There's not a whole lot of cost in making a cake, the actual ingredients. I mean, you need to make sure you count stuff like the cake board and the cake box, and then of course all the ingredients for the cake when you figure up, and you'll need to know that at tax time when you go to file your income tax. But for purposes, I went ahead and figured up what I had, so I knew, how much I'm spending to make a cake. But now it comes into play, how do you price your skill? And that can be tricky. So what I would suggest especially for new bakers, I would suggest everyone to go and look at their competition. Go around to all of the bakeries in your area. You might even buy a cupcake and taste it just to see what kind of flavors they offer and stuff like that. You also need to figure out what you're going to include. Like I don't charge extra for different flavors of cake, and I offer a bajillion flavors of cake and filling. You know, most bakeries will have pricing, you know, if you choose these flavors, this is the price. If you choose this, you know, and they divide it by different flavors. They have premium flavors, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I don't do that. I let my customers choose any flavor. And if they do a 2 or 3 tier cake, they can have 2 or 3 tier, you know, 2 or 3 different flavors of cake. But that's me. That's how I run my business. You can do whatever you want. But you need to go around to your competition. And then this is where it's going to get hard. You need to be honest with yourself. You need to look at their designs, see what they're offering, and then answer honestly. Can you make whatever they're doing? Are you just as good as they are? You know, and this is like, again, you need to be honest. You need to look at a design and say, can I make that design exactly the way they did or better? If the answer is yes, then you can look at their pricing and you have a starting point at where, you know, you can begin your pricing. Because every area is different. I can't, you know, this pricing is for Ohio. And I'm in the middle of nowhere in Ohio. You know, I can't charge what New York charges. And I can't tell you because I don't know what area you're in. So you need to go to the competition. You need to look around. And you even need to go to some of the more economical places, Walmart, Kroger's, whatever, you know, your grocery store bakers. And look at their pricing as well. And ask yourself, you know, can I do this? If the answer is no, or I can only do some of the designs, well, pick out the designs that you can do and that you're good at doing, and look at that pricing, and that's where you start with your pricing. If the answer is no, I can't do any of them, then maybe you need to do more basic cakes, you know, your simple birthday cakes, you know, with roses and happy birthday. Everybody can start somewhere. So if you say, yes, I can do everything that they have, and in fact, I could do it better, then you may price yours a little bit higher. Or you look at what they're offering, like I said, different flavors. Set yourself apart from the bakeries. Why would they choose you when they can go to a bakery? And, you know, because if you're doing it from your home, you got a disadvantage. You know, when people walk into a bakery, they know, and they order a cake, they know that if, you know, their baker Jill gets sick, you know, Tim here will fill the order, and they don't have to worry about it. It's a bakery. They have somebody they can go back on. They have somebody they could sue, you know, to put it bluntly. And if they go to a home baker, it's like, oh, I don't know. What if she got sick? You know, I'm trusting her with this big event cake. What if she doesn't do it? You know, so you need to offer them reasons why they would choose you over a bakery. And maybe it's because you don't charge extra for different flavors and fillings, and you torture cakes, and you offer designs that they can't get somewhere else. So getting back to this is what I call basic pricing. So I've been in business a long time, and with the exception of this right here, which I call an introductory for some new people who haven't ordered from me before, I have that $95. But typically, I don't turn my ovens on for less than $100. I don't care if it's cupcakes, a 6-inch cake, whatever. You want a cake from me, it's going to start at $100. And I've been doing this long enough. I'm booked up months in advance. I turn people away. So I'm able to command that kind of prices. And again, these prices are for, you know, Ohio. So this is basic. In other words, this is the least amount I'm going to do a cake for. And that's what you need to figure out by looking at what people are charging and assessing your skills, I come up with what the least amount I'm gonna charge for this. So let's look at some examples. Let's look at how this pricing works in the real world. Everyone sends me pictures of cakes they've seen and are all the time saying, you know, hey, how much will this cake cost me? So let's say I received this picture of a cake and they want it to serve 30 people. Well, now looking at it, this is a buttercream iced cake with a little bit of fondant. To me, this is as basic a cake as you're gonna get. So I honestly would not charge any more than the base amount that I'm charging. So if they asked me for this cake to feed 30, I would go over here, and to feed 30 would be an 11-inch, it'd be $155 is what I would charge for that cake. Okay, so now somebody sends me this picture and they ask me how much would this cake cost. So I'm looking at it, this top tier is buttercream iced. There's no other decorations on the side. There's just this face and hands. So I would say that the top tier is a basic cake. But now the bottom tier is also iced in buttercream, but it has all of these fondant flowers. And then we also have a bow. So looking at it, I would charge extra for the flowers and extra for the bows. As far as the ears, I would probably just throw those in. Those are just circles, you know, takes 5 seconds to make them. So for me, I would look at the base price of the cake. I would add 4 flowers and a bow. Okay, so let's look at this cake as another example. Somebody sends me this. This is buttercream iced cake. It has a lot of details on it, but really the details are very simple. You know, the little bones, I have a little cutter, you just cut them out real quick out of fondant. So it's, to me, a basic cake. I wouldn't charge anything extra for this cake except for this topper I made. This topper is gum paste where I've hand drawn and colored in and made a topper. So that would cost extra. So say they wanted to have this cake serve 30, how much would I charge? So I would go to a 2-tier that serves 30. The closest would be a 6 and 10 inch. It starts at 175. So I would only add the topper, and let's say I charge 25 for the topper. So now they pay $200. And that's how I do my pricing. The longer you've been doing it, the faster you'll get, and you'll realize how long does it take me to make all those little flowers and bow, and how much is the material cost, so you can figure up how much extra you're going to charge. And that just comes with experience and time. You'll eventually get there, but I think this system would actually work for anyone, beginners to, you know, people who've been doing it a long time, like I have. You know, it lends itself for whatever area and whatever skill you have. So, well guys, that'll do it for this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please leave me a comment down below, or if you have any suggestions for future videos, or if you have a better way of pricing your cakes, let me know. I'd love to learn. I enjoy reading everyone's comments, and I always answer. I'd like to grow a nice, cool community where we help each other out. That would be wonderful. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button, please hit it and give me a thumbs up so YouTube will push it out to more people. I would really appreciate it, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye-bye.